Hi everybody, how's it going today? Thanks for watching another video. In our milking parlor here this morning. Luis putting on pre-dip here. The second machine there, number 26, the controls to run the takeoff cylinder are not working. The cylinder's not coming down. We'll take a look in the basement here in a second, but a couple days or a couple weeks ago, we had another machine that was doing a similar thing, and then ended up being a break in the wire going from upstairs here down to the control in the basement. Figured it was the same thing, but after troubleshooting it yesterday with my meter, I figured out that it was another issue. It was actually the board itself was giving its 24 volts DC signal, and it was constantly giving that signal. It wasn't shutting off. Called the dealer and he said more than likely it's the board. So we're going to swap out the board here, and it's one board for 2 units. So when they're done here, this is the last pen before lunch. Apparently you can't be in wash, and it would be easier to do it while we're not milking because they won't be able to use those stalls. So as soon as they get done with this last line here, we're going to go down there. We have to go through a few steps because this new board has to be programmed. Our dealer will be on Team Viewer on our office computer, and he's going to tell me what to do down there. We're going to start by plugging in just a couple wires, and I think he's got to set it up, and then we'll plug in the rest of the wires. But we'll go down there and kind of show you guys what it looks like down there, and we'll see if I can get some filming when we're doing the process here. Put a plastic grocery bag on that unit there to keep it from falling down into the manure when it does come off. I'm not sure who put it on there, but kind of good idea, I guess. Right away we had just unhooked the chain because the chain's not long enough to reach under the cow without it coming down. But then of course when the cow's done, the unit just falls on the floor, which is not ideal. There's manure down there. Kind of windy here in the entry, so hopefully you guys don't get too much wind noise here. In the basement here, underneath the milking parlor. These are the first units there on the top, so it's this number 26. This is the board here. The cover's broken. I ordered, there's a few covers broken I noticed, so I ordered a few of them. This is the old board, or the one that was in here. This is that wire that's controlling the cylinder for lifting the units off, and it's this one here that's constantly has 24 volts on it, and it's not supposed to. So I've got a new board here, ready to go. My understanding is I need to pull this. This is power, so I need to pull this off, and then this is communication to the office. So I need to take these two off, put them on the new board, leave all this other stuff for now, and then he's going to program this board, and then we're going to plug the rest of it in, and then hopefully that takes care of the issue. The dealer was pretty confident that was the issue because it's number 25 here. The other unit is working fine. It's just number 26 that has 24 volts on it all the time. even when it's not supposed to. So that was it's going to be the first step here to swap that out. Hopefully that takes care of our issue here. Can you still hear me? I've got the new one plugged in, yep. The one on the right? Okay. Got the new board plugged in here. Got power on it, and then he had me hit a button on there. Just wake it up, I think. I'm not really sure exactly what that did, but as soon as I hit it, he saw it on his end. So he's got to download software for this new board, put it on there, and then we'll see what he wants us to do next. In the office here, he's on our computer here. So our dealer's actually in Sioux Falls. He's working on this. Maybe that's him calling right there. No. Call that person back. So he's actually in Sioux Falls, about 5 hours south of us here, working on our computer remotely. I'm gonna get this set up. So that computer is connected to this box here called the gateway, and this is communicating with all our units in the parlor. He had me push a button in here before we got started. I'm not really sure what that did, but again, as soon as I pushed it, he saw whatever he needed to see on his end pop up. So that was good, I guess. So we'll just have to wait until he's got this downloading stuff finished up, and hopefully we can plug in all those wires down there and try it, and hopefully that took care of our issue. Supposedly he's got it ready to go here, so we're gonna pull the power back off, swap all the wires over, and then we'll try it before we mount that new board into the lid here, because it's screwed onto the lid. So we'll get started on that here. I'll head back upstairs and see if that took care of our problem here. Back in the parlor here, they're done milking the cows, cleaning up now. Just gotta make sure that this is that unit, and looks like it's working. Make sure the other one still works. So it looks like that took care of the issue. So now we'll mount this board back on this lid. These boxes, I don't know what the deal is. They're kind of, I don't know if they're cheaply made or what, but all 4 of these screws are busted out, and there's a few more I saw. This one's busted out. There's a couple on this side also. Where was it? Of course, no, I can't find it. But there was a couple of them that those screws have been busted out. Oh, here's one where the lid's completely cracked off. So our dealer has a few laying in the shop, used ones. He said he'd send me just the lids on them, so that'll save us a little bit of money, and shouldn't be too difficult to swap those lids out. It's just 4 screws that hold that board on that lid. So we'll make sure they're sealed up good again. Not that there's a lot of moisture down here, but we do clean down here. So we'll get this board put back on here and go on to the next thing for the day, I guess. It's a couple days later here, Saturday afternoon. Ian was just riding with Opa. Now we're gonna check some fields. Manure pumping crew showed up yesterday. They're gonna start on a field of our Gonna start on the field of our neighbors here this afternoon, hopefully, or tomorrow morning, and then go on some of ours. Probably 700-800 acres of ours to do, depending on how much they can get to, because there's quite a bit of quite a few low spots, quite a bit of water still in the fields. Thought we'd check a few fields here, see how they look. So this field actually had manure on it this fall, and we spread rye on this field. I was kind of curious how it looked. There's a couple fields that we spread rye on just to cover crop. So we spread the rye, and we worked this just with a broadcast spreader. Tyson spread it for us, and then we worked it in lightly, and then just the way it worked out, we ended up putting manure on this field afterwards. Kind of turned into a trial, I guess. I was curious how the rye would turn out. Stand is not very thick, which wasn't expecting it to be. It was pretty dry last fall, so it didn't really grow much. I mean, you couldn't see it from the road. You had to get out, and it was maybe got an inch tall before we got snow or before it froze. So I was kind of curious how it would turn out this spring. It's maybe 6 inches tall now, but it was yeah, meant to be a cover crop. I mean, if it turned out to be a really good spring, the other field will head there next. We maybe would have mowed and chopped, but that would have been really optimistic to plan for that. Should we go look at the other field, Ian?
Yes!
Okay, let's get back in. We're in the other field here that we spread cover crop on, or we spread rye on last fall. This field hasn't gotten manure yet. This will be the first field we'll go to more than likely after we get done with our neighbors. Looks like the stand is a little thicker here, but looks like it's just as far along as that other field. Cover crops is something I'm more interested in, but kind of challenging for us here, especially after corn silage. Not a lot of growing season left at that point. Need some moisture and a late winter to get some growth out of cover crops. Something I've tried in the past is interseeding into the corn in June when corn is not quite knee high yet, with limited success. Some tried probably 5-6 different seeds, different crops. Italian ryegrass was really the only one that was able to handle the shade once the corn got tall enough to get some growth after the corn was off. I mean, I'd like to try that again this year if it works out. We'll see. Ian just playing over there. We cleaned up some dead trees or dying trees and rocks on the edge of this big slough here. We were here yesterday or a couple days ago, and he found some shells. So he wanted to go check it out again, right? Did you find any shells? No? Okay. In the field right around the farm here now. Kind of windy out here, so hopefully you guys don't get too much wind noise. But this was silage last year. We spread a little bit of solid manure here in the fall. Drying up pretty good here too, but as you can see, there's small pockets of water kind of all over the place. It's some of those will dry out, but a lot of them won't, or they will in July, and can't really wait till July either to plant corn, so just have to go around them when we have wet springs like we had this year. Just the way it is, we're kind of limited on what we can do with those spots. I mean, we can prevent them from getting bigger, but we're not really supposed to be draining them. So we just have to deal with them, go around them. It is what it is. So this field was not tilled. We'll come through, and obviously we're required to inject the manure, so we'll inject the manure on here, and then because that leaves the field kind of rough, we'll come through with either a cultivator or a sulfured vertical tillage, smooth the field out and prepare it for planting. But overall, drying out pretty good here. Hopefully we can get the manure put on here and things dry out a little bit so we can get some corn planted. It's not getting late yet, but it is May 20th, so we don't have a whole lot of time here to get some corn in the ground. Like to have some put in the ground before June, but we'll see if that happens. Hopefully, depending on the weather, should be able to put manure on, and then another few days, 4 or 5 days, I guess, depending on the weather, and then we should be able to come back on and plant some corn. So we'll see how it goes. At our manure storage here, they just got their agitation boat in the manure, but it's not running, so I'm wondering if they're having an issue with it. Hopefully not, because then someone's gonna have to swim out there, Ian. They've got some of their hose rolled out, it looks like, still working. I see off in the distance their tractor was going. I haven't really talked about it, but we've got a pretty big pile of solid manure there. Was hoping to spread some solid manure this spring, but decided that we're not gonna spread any. Seems like every spring I tell myself we're not gonna spread any solid manure, just not worry about it and do it all in the fall, and then we end up doing some, and I regret it because we cause a lot of compaction on some of the high traffic areas.
Papa,
yeah.
I want it out.
You want to get out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Come out this way or your way?
This way.
This way? Okay, just a second.
I want to go this way.
Okay. You know how to open the door? Here.
Yeah.
Just stay close, okay? I'll be out in a second.
Okay.
With as wet as it's been here the last couple weeks, just don't think it makes sense to try to push it, so we're just gonna leave it. Maybe we can spread some this summer on some of our neighbors' fields if they have prevent plant, or we'll get to it this fall, but we'll have quite a mountain this fall if we wait till fall, but that's all right. Hopefully we'll have a good fall and be able to spread it then. But yeah, I think I'll end this video here. Appreciate you guys watching. If you have questions, comments, post them down below. I'll try to answer them if I can. And hopefully we'll see some manure application and corn seeding videos here in the future, because I'd like to get some corn in the ground to feed the cows. Right, Ian?
Come out, please.
Yep, I'm coming out. Say bye.
Bye.
See you next time.